Well,
Mhm.
so now let's move away from events and let's talk a little bit about data. What have you got for us today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I would say events is definitely a part of data, and I'll
Mm,
talk about that right now. But yes, today I'm going to be talking about our new no code data connector platform, and I'm super excited to share with everyone. Let's get into it.
let's do it.
All right. So, again, my name is Keshia Rose, and I'm a product manager here at Algolia on the data connections team. And today I want to talk to you about our brand new no code data connector platform. So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about some of the data challenges that our customers sometimes experience. I'll be giving you an overview of the platform and how it works. Then I'll do a fun little demo of it, and I'll let you know how you can try it out yourself. All right, so first up, whenever you're building out a brand new Algolia search and discovery experience, one of the first things you need to do is bring data into your index. And we do know that some of our customers have a bit of a hard time with this because it does require some developer effort. Maybe they don't have it available at that time. And if you do, you need to set up maybe some middleman systems to connect the data from your data source to Algolia. And depending on the data source that you're connecting to or trying to bring data in from, they could have very complex APIs. It might be weird. You have to go learn all over again, some new systems. And we want to address all of these problems with a new platform. Now, I'm saying platform because we wanted to make this something that would be scalable and flexible. We didn't want to continue to just build, an individual one-off connector. We know that we have customers that have data all over the place in all kinds of different data sources, whether that's flat files or databases or different platforms like e-commerce platforms or content management systems or events, and web analytical tools. And we want to be able to have a platform that allows us to bring that data into any Algolia product that you want to use it with, whether that's search, recommend, or as Chuck was talking about, leveraging those insights to actually alter search and recommend. So what we've done with this connector platform is basically just build a bridge between the two. And we've done this with a set of very simple APIs that are super easy to use and very low code. Now, on top of this, not only are we able to grab data from your data sources and pull it into Algolia, we want to give you full control. So we also have a way for you to tell us how and when to get that data. Depending on the data source, maybe it makes more sense to have a big batch upload, every day, for example, on a scheduled time. Or perhaps if it's something more live, you want to subscribe to real-time updates. So you have that constant sync with your data. The platform can handle all of that for you, depending on the different data sources. And on top of all of that, we've got a layer of observability. Because if we're going to be handling data connectivity for you, we want you to know exactly what's happening under the hood and be able to monitor, validate your data, and do any troubleshooting that's necessary. Now, I keep saying it's a platform, it's a platform. So not only does that mean that we're building it in a way that's scalable for us to build, but we also want to continue to add new and amazing connectors along the way. Now, we're starting, of course, with the Algolia dev team. We're building out some new connectors that you'll see today, and we'll continue to add to this catalog over time. But we also want to make it flexible, not only for us to develop, but for our partners. Perhaps they want to build a connector for their platform. They know it best and they want to build a connector for Algolia. You'll be able to do so on our platform. And then eventually, even anyone. It could be you. Maybe you want to build a connector for a particular data source. That's what we're hoping to go towards in the future, perhaps later this year. So this is the general vision. We're starting off today with our Algolia built connectors, but we want to really make this an awesome platform experience for everyone. Now, going back to the APIs themselves, here what you need to do to actually use them is just give us these three pieces. So we have the data sources on the left here. Let us know where to find that data. For example, if it's a database, what table do we need? If it's an e-commerce platform, what ID should we use to uniquely identify your products? Is it SKU, for example? Then on the right-hand side, just tell us where to send that data. Which product do you want to use it for? And which one does it line up with? And then the last piece is telling us how and when to fetch that data. So again, depending on the data source, you can let us know to schedule it every hour, every day. You can run it on demand whenever you want or listen to updates. Now, having these APIs is great. It allows anyone to include them in their own data processes, but I said no code connectors at the beginning, not low code. So we are taking all of these APIs and building out a brand new page in our dashboard. So today you'll be able to find a new connectors page that has our first few no-code connectors. You can see here we've got one for commerce tools and two for flat files for JSON and CSV. And right now we're really focused on building out more connectors, fleshing out the rest of this page. But eventually this will become a one-stop shop for all of your data connections for Algolia. You'll be able to monitor any data that's coming in. You'll be able to see all the different ways of connecting data, and whatever you need to get there, whether it's documentation or API clients, will all be in one central place. So first, I want to focus on these two flat file connectors we have here for JSON and CSV. We started here because these are probably the most popular formats for data. Many different industries use it, many different tools and platforms can export to them. And we thought it'd be a great place to start with our no-code connector platform. These two connectors are available in public beta today, and they're specifically working with our search, so you can pop these into your index. And for now, you can have them scheduled or you can run them on demand. So let's go ahead and take a look at a demo of the JSON connector. So let me swap over here, and here I've got an example of some e-commerce data in a JSON file that's hosted. It's hosted on GitHub. And this is just an array of objects. So we're looking to get just a list of different items, whether it's products, articles, media content, etc. We'll see we've got different names, description, manufacturing, price. Notice that we have an object ID already present in the data. You do not have to have that. It could be an ID, it could be a SKU, etc. You let us know what you want to use for your unique record identification. Now let's hop in. Oh, let me grab the link. Almost forgot. Let's hop into the dashboard where you can see live this brand new connectors page. You can find this by going to data sources in the bottom left and then selecting the connectors tab. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to our JSON file with the JSON connector. And just like I mentioned earlier, the first thing to do is set up the data source. So here we can decide how to actually access that data source. Is it protected with the username and password, for example? Or in our case, is it publicly available? So I'll select none, since we don't need any authentication to access the link. Then I'll paste in that link that I copied that has my data. You can choose different methods here if you need to, or you can use a different protocol. I'll add object ID as our unique property identifier. It's important to get this right. This is what we'll use to decide if we need to append or update existing records in your index. So whatever you're using as your primary field or identifying field, that's what you want to put here. Finally, we give you the chance to name this data source. This just makes it easy to manage the different data sources. And because it's a composable platform, you can kind of mix and match. So make sure you name this something that is rememberable. Memorable, not rememberable. So this is a data source from Best Buy sample. I'm just going to put Best Buy demo and create my data source. Now, second step of 3 is to select the destination. Whenever you're sending data to Algolia, we'll let you choose which API key to use. So I already have a API key set here already. I'm going to use that one. Then I need to figure out where to send this data. So I'm going to say, let's create a new index. And this index does not exist. And once it's run, once we have this up and going, it will be created. And again, just have a name here that matches what the destination is so that you can see it later on and reuse them. All right, I've created my destination. 2 steps done out of 3. The last one's probably the easiest, and that's telling us how and when to actually grab that data. So here you have 2 options right now for the JSON data source. We can do it on demand. This just sets up the entire connection, but you push the button whenever you want to update. Or what I'll be doing today is the schedule. So here you can use your own custom cron expression if you want to, or you can just use one of our handy dandy presets. I'll select every hour and I'll create my task. And that's it. Excuse me. That's all you need to do to set up one of these new connectors. Now, this will run once every hour, but I'm going to hit the run button right now to get this going so I can show you what this looks like. So you can see that this task is being run. It's going out and it's grabbing the data from our JSON data source. It's creating the new index because that index does not exist. If you want to use an existing index, that's perfectly fine as well. And then it's going to copy that data into the index. Now, you can see we also have a few tabs here at the top. The source I created earlier is here. You can see the destinations, and we've got our authentications here as well that I already have. Let's check in on the task. Ooh, it's still running. Okay, this is live, so I don't have the chance to like cut things down to a certain time. I'm going to give it a few more seconds here, and we will see the end result. There we go. Perfect. Now I'll move to my index. Let's see here our list of indices. And we should see, brand new, last build a few seconds ago. We've got a bunch of records in here. Let's take a look at the index. And wow, wonderful. So we've got all those different records in here. You can see the exact same data. The object ID was used as the Algolia object ID. And at this point, you're good to go. This data source will run on its own and update automatically every hour or whatever schedule you like to use. And there's no code needed. If you want to use the APIs that are under the hood, they're available to you and documented as well if you want to include that into your workflow, but no need. Let us handle the hard stuff and the heavy lifting for you, and you're all set to go. So how can you try it out? Well, take a look at this link. We'll pop it in the chat as well so you can have it to click on actively. But I have a blog post out where you can see exactly what we just did today with the JSON connector, and you can learn more about our connector platform and what we're working on next. And then, of course, it's already in the dashboard available to you today in public beta. So if you want to try it out with your own JSON or CSV files, please do. I would love to see the activity. And if you have anything that you want us to build, a new connector, there's also an option in the dashboard to let us know that as well. All right, so thank you very much. And I think at this point, I'm going to pass it back to Chuck. We might have some questions in the chat. Is that right, Chuck?
Yeah, thanks, Keshia. Definitely, if you have any questions for Keshia about these connectors, pop over to the Q&A tab and ask them. I do see one in there already, which is around that data replication. When the connector runs, is it an in-place replacement, or does it actually replace the entire index?
Great question. So for our JSON and CSV connectors, right now we're starting with just replacing. So once you run that task, it'll grab all of the records that you have in the JSON file and replace the index. The next iteration of this will have an option. So remember when I was selecting on demand or scheduled, there'll be a new option there that will allow you to select whether you want to replace the entire index, if you want to, kind of upsert or append data, maybe make some updates, or even if you want to delete, you can really make your own kind of custom workflows to work as you need them.
Very cool. So replacement for now, but updates are on the roadmap. That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's great. I don't see any other questions for you. So unless we get a last minute one, I think you're off the hook.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next.